We don't need no action and cut, baby. We don't need no action and cut. Listen, listen, listen. Welcome to my show. Welcome to my show. This is a podcast of lessons in the legacies, lessons that I learned, trials, all the way to things that I conquered, all the way to the legacy that I want to leave behind for my family. So I'm gonna have guests up here who been through things, whether it's crime, whether it's just average person who just been through hardship and overcame things. But one thing we're gonna do though is see, because where I came from of having a felony, I never took the felony as a failure. I took my felony and I made my felony an A because I took my felony. First thing I did was got my rights back. Second thing I did was I got my gun rights back. Third thing I did was when I had to put on my application, once they asked me that question, am I a felony? The first thing I looked at the application, I said, I don't want to tell them that. So what I did was I said, I'm going to create a job. I'm going to create a business so I can hire people. And I'm not even asking them that question. So I make sure that I take my felony as not a failure. And that's what my podcast is about. But right now, today, I'm going to tell you, I got a great guy. GiGi, mobster. He definitely been through hardship, 28 years in the federal penitentiary. Sentenced to 35 years and did 28 off of that. Stood tall. And when I tell you they put him through the ringer, they put him through the ringer. I'm going to bring him on. Introduce y'all. GiGi.
How you doing?
Wonderful. Man, welcome, man. Welcome, man. Welcome. I want to welcome you, man. Welcome home.
Thank you.
Welcome home, man. Man, you look great.
Thank you. I feel good.
So you working out?
Yeah, a little working out here and there.
I know that's right. Man, so what you got going on, man? So you got a book coming out, right? Or is it already published?
It's already published, called The Patriarchal Purge, and it's pretty much like what happened with my trial, my case, but there's part one, and then I'm going on to part two, which is next. And it's on Amazon Kindle, and it's soft cover and ebook. And I also have a movie coming out called Pressed.
So it's already shot?
No, it's going to be shooting after April 8th. I mean, after June 8th. We're going to start June 8th. After June 8th, which is a week from now.
Got you. So state your whole name for my audience.
Okay, Vincent Michael Marino, also known as Gigi Portalla.
And you say Gigi?
Yes, that's my nickname. I was named after my grandfather, who was 118 of children. And he was a big bookmaker in New England years ago and a professional boxer. And that was his nickname. So my mother renamed me after him.
Oh, wow. Okay. So where was you born and raised?
I was born in Boston. I grew up in Revere. I lived in East Boston, and I lived in the North End, Little Italy section of Boston. So I have 3 neighborhoods under my belt.
So your nationality is?
Italian, Sicilian.
Oh, man. You give me them vibes, man.
My father's side from Sicily and my mother's side from Naples, outside of Rome.
Oh, wow. So
and there's a big line between them.
So is everything in The Godfather true?
I mean, some of it.
So some of it. Yeah. Well, I'm a very big fan. I'm a very big fan of y'all whole culture. I'm gonna tell you that, because I know, times like us in our culture in the African American hip hop culture, we always emulate, what's been going on over there in the Italian world. So let me ask you a question. So how long did you serve in the federal prison?
28 straight years, altogether 35 years, but I did 28 straight.
28 in the same.
Since 1996, and I got out. and I just got out on August 13th, 2024.
So did you do the whole 28? You did the whole 28 years in one place?
28 straight, right? And all my co-defendants been out years and years and decades later before me, before me. I was the last one to get out, and I got the most time out of 15.
So hold on. So let me take you back. So
yeah.
So you got served the 28 years. So did you do the whole time in one facility?
No, I was everywhere because I was a litigator. And when you're a litigator, they don't want you there. The staff don't want you there because you're helping people get to medical, you're helping people get out, helping people on compassionate release.
Oh, hold on. Explain what a litigator is for the people, because I'm totally confused when you
I've
say that.
learned through trial and error on how to file motions in court, civil, criminal, and by me being able to do that through trial and error, throughout the years of 28 years of doing it, I got pretty good at it. So I was considered the plague according to the staff for the BOP. They didn't want somebody like me on the compound helping people out. You might come to me saying, listen, I'm trying to get home to my family. I want a compassionate release motion done. Or you might have a medical issue. So I only usually stay maybe 2.5, 3 years in the place. And they usually ship me because they look at me as a problem. You understand?
Yes, so they think you trouble. So let me ask you, what were the charges you was convicted of?
I was convicted of RICO, count 1, racketeering, influence, corruption, organization. Count 2, RICO conspiracy, and count 3, conspiracy to murder.
Wow.
That's what I was convicted of.
So you was actually convicted of that?
I was convicted of it, right. And the predicate acts were conspiracy to murder and cocaine conspiracy. I beat the attempted murder. I beat 2 924Cs, use of a firearm, machine gun, silence bomb, structure device, and hand grenade, and the conspiracy to murder 14 people. And then I beat another 924C, use of these firearms and furtherance of a drug conspiracy. I got a not guilty of it. Then I beat an attempted murder on my second trial.
So I was reading up a little bit on you, and I think your case had something to do with the First Step Act.
Right. The First Step Act that Trump signed into office in his first term allows an inmate to get a year off for programming, taking classes and trying to better themselves. So I got the year off. And then when I got to Coleman 1 on punishment in Florida penitentiary, the case manager looked at me and said, wow, I was 7 years old when you went to prison, and you've been gone for 28 years. He says, I'm putting you in for the First Step Act. I didn't even know what she was talking about because I never applied for it. So I never really familiarized myself with the benefits of it. So I said, all right, whatever. I kind of thought she was just playing with me because all my years in prison, no case manager ever tried to really help me. You know what I mean? So apparently she was true to her words, and she put me in for it. So I got out a year and a half early through the halfway house and home detention because of the First Step Act. And that's where I, started working and doing things, working on the book and working on the film.
So did you get sentenced for anything that you didn't commit?
Okay, that's a good question, because I did get convicted of conspiracy to murder, which is maximum 10 years. But the judge at my sentencing gave me a 25-year enhancement for an attempted murder I beat at trial, which the government's version of it was this guy was actually trying to kill me. And he was suspect in over 30 homicides. So I beat the charge. In 1998, I got a hung jury. 1999, I got a not proven beyond a reasonable doubt for the June 16, 1989 Salemi attempted murder. At the time, Salemi was considered, according to the public record, the boss of the New England mob. The government instigated the whole thing. They went to me and they told me this guy's trying to kill me because they had some political things going on with their informant.
When you say this guy's tried to kill you, who are you referring to?
One day I was walking in my house and 3 FBI agents approached me John Conley, Michael Buckley, and Robert Callen. And they presented their badges. They said, listen, we have to warn you that Frank Salemi is trying to kill you.
And this is in 96.
No, this was in 89.
In
So
89.
now this is right before the assassination attempt. So I just laughed it off. They said, well, you come with us, we'll protect you. I said, nah, I'm good. Don't come by no more. And I left. I went up into my house. And then they walked into Joe Tecci's in the north end of Boston, which is a well-known Italian restaurant. John Conley, the FBI agent, and he approached Antti Cardinale, who was a famed Boston defense lawyer, and told him, you asked him, what brought him to the restaurant, and he said he's waiting for his client, Vinny the Animal Ferrara, and he says, don't meet him in public. Frank Salemi's trying to kill him. So what they did was they Machiavelli'd everybody to thinking this guy's trying to kill him, trying to kill us, for us to try to kill him. It's a book that came out with called COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO says how the FBI gets involved in an organization and gets everybody to shoot and kill each other. And then they arrest whoever the perpetrators were. And that was a book that you should read. It's called COINTELPRO. And it was a method that he used under J. Edgar Hoover, who was the FBI leader.
So question. So you're basically saying though that the FBI fueled the mob war in Boston.
They instigated and fomented it, clearly and conceitedly.
But there's no proof to that. That's just theory?
This is not theory. This is independently corroborated in Boston to the Chief Judge Mark Wolf Herons, a federal judge in Boston, who had a hearing on all this stuff. And he had agents on the stand. He had all kinds of people on the stand under oath that ended up discovering this exculpatory impeachment evidence, which was clearly egregious government misconduct. And it was discovered through his due diligence. And there's a case called U.S. versus Salemi, 91 Fed Sub 2nd, page 141, but specifically look at page 3, I think it's 365 all the way, 305 all the way to 311. No, 265 to 311, D-Mass, 1999 in Boston.
So
read that case.
Who is Salemi?
Salemi was the guy they blamed me for trying to kill.
So they blamed you for trying to kill him?
They blamed, yeah. I was actually not only blamed, I was indicted for it.
So what evidence? But you didn't get convicted. So you didn't get convicted. You didn't get convicted of that.
Tried me in 98, and I got a hung jury. In 99, I got a not proven beyond a reasonable doubt on December 22nd, 1999, document 1079 and document 1149, which was my sentence and transcript. And I got a not proven beyond a reasonable doubt by a jury. And the judge, Nathaniel M. Gorton, took the power away from the jury, which is completely illegal and unconstitutional, and reversed their decision and enhanced me 25 extra years in prison.
So how did so okay, so let me ask you a question. So how did you find out that Salemi wanted you dead? Where did that come from?
The 3 FBI agents told me that when they approached me coming in my house.
Got you.
That's how they instigated and fomented the violence. They were telling me. So I did a little research on this guy according to the public account and found out he was a bomb expert. I found out this guy was an alleged serial killer, and that during the Irish gang wars, him and Barboza, who ended up being suspect in 29 murders and ended up flipping later, did all the killing. So somebody I had to take care of.
So you got Salemi Senior.
Salemi Senior.
So you got
Salemi Senior. Junior was his son. They both have the same name.
So Frank Senior. So Frank Senior. What was his role in the mob? Okay,
Frank Senior just came out of prison after doing 17 years for placing a bomb under the lawyer's car that was representing an informant that was going to testify against about 80 guys in New England to put them away. Well, what happened was they went to the lawyer first and said, listen, back off. And the lawyer basically said, fuck you, I'm not backing off. So they put the bomb under his car. Salemi put the bomb under the car with Stephen Rifleman Fleming, who was an undercover informant at the time. He was James Whitey Bulger's partner, and they led the Irish mob. Now, this is all public record. He places a bomb under the car. The lawyer left the door open and left one leg out. When he started the car, it blew up. It blew one leg off. Okay?
So all this is real. All
this is
real
all independently corroborated. Everything that's coming out of my mouth is public record. It's
I feel like I'm watching.
Some of this stuff could be hidden. Now, they had congressional investigations on this stuff and everything. And the congressional investigation is titled Everything Secret Degenerates. The FBI / Department of Justice use of murderers as informants. It was a super secret FBI program that J. Edgar Hoover started. And what happened was Congress, which was bipartisan, Republican, Democrat, under Bush Jr. administration, went forward with the hearings. And Bush Jr. tried to get involved and try to block it and threaten Congress saying, listen, I'm going to put an executive order against you guys to block this. I don't want this stuff coming out. Both the Republican and Democrats went up against Bush Jr. and said, listen, you do that, we're moving to impeach you. Both parties. So he backed off. So now the Department of Justice goes head to head with Congress. And Congress wants to know all these redacted material about this top echelon informant program. What they did discover, there's 3 prongs have to be met to become a top echelon FBI / Department of Justice informant. One prong is they have to be an accomplished professional serial killer. Second one is they have to be a high-ranking member of a criminal organization or a gang. And thirdly, they have to meet the prong of be able to disseminate that information to the FBI and the Department of Justice. The rest of it was redacted. So Congress went to move. They went head to head with the Department of Justice, and the Department of Justice fought them tooth and nail not to hand over the redaction in the deleted part of the program. So what ended up happening is politics pretty much took over after that, and they kind of let it go. Well, what I did was I stepped in and picked up the pieces off the floor, and I did my own lawsuit called Marino versus the Department of Justice, and I sued them in Washington, D.C. I wanted that redacted stuff. I wanted it, and they fought me tooth and nail not to give it to me. So remember the title of the congressional investigation. Everything Secret Degenerates, the FBI / Department of Justice use of murders as informants. And the public has a right to know all that redacted material. In fact, Trump should move to have an executive order to release that material, just like they did with the Kennedy assassination just recently, which took 40 years to be released for public sentiment and how they work.
So when I read something about 29 murders attempts connected to the FBI instigated that violence. So that was 29.
I'm not sure of the number, but I know it was up there, and they were killing a lot of informants. Like the informants were killing informants. They had the guy James Whitey Bulger, who had led the Irish mob in Boston. They had 2 movies they based it on it. One was The Departed, where Jack Nicholson played Whitey Bulger. You had DiCaprio, Damon, Affleck, Wahlberg, all the big stars was in it, but it was off base. It wasn't really that accurate. The only 3 accuracies in the movie was Whitey Bulger was the head of the Irish mob, was a serial killer, and was an informant. The FBI protected him in Boston while he was killing all these people, including informants, other informants.
So today, how would you describe Somali reputation?
Whose reputation?
Somali.
Oh, Salemi?
Yes, Salemi.
Well, Salemi's reputation was one of somebody that was a bomb expert. He was a serial killer, the leader of the Italian mob, partners with the leader of the Irish mob, Bulger, and pled out to 30 murders and ended up going in witness protection. He got shot all the way to witness protection. Eventually, he went in witness protection.
So how did you feel when you knew? I'm going back to this because I'm just trying to get in the mind of you, of how you felt when you found out that when the FBI said to you that your life was in danger, that you had a hit out for you.
I looked at it in a 50-50 aspect. Either they were just trying to get me to kill this guy, or he was really, really trying to kill me. It was like a 50.
So was you a tough guy though?
I mean, I was a guy that wasn't going to take any bullshit from anybody. You know what I'm saying here? You know, I was the type of guy, I wasn't going to sit back. I mean, I would defend myself.
So you weren't scared though?
Oh, no. No. I wasn't scared, but I was being aware of my surroundings more so.
Yeah. Because you more so felt that it probably was a play.
Right. It could have been a Machiavelli move where they were just trying to get me to get rid of whoever they wanted me to get rid of. But at the same time, it might have been true. So I was pretty much on my toes.
Wow. So when you say the Charleston Irish mob, and when that whole thing went down, when it got wiped out, it got really, really bad.
Well, they got wiped out by the guys that are saying it's trying to kill me. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it was somebody I had to take serious. It wasn't somebody I was going to take not serious. You understand?
Yeah.
He was instrumental in that. And according when he flipped, he pretty much admitted to that. When he flipped, he had a debrief. But the problem is when he was on witness protection program, he left out one murder. So they indicted him for perjury because when he debriefed, he left it out because he was trying to protect his brother and his son that was involved with the murder. And then they eventually indicted him for the murder and ended up getting a life sentence while on witness protection, which is pretty weird.
Gotcha. So let me ask you a question here. So like I say in the beginning, so the name of my podcast is Lessons to Legacies. And I feel that, I hear a whole lot of things that they try to charge you with and a lot of things that you didn't do, even though you was convicted. But what are some of the lessons that you learned along the way before the 28 years? And what are some of the lessons you learned during your 28 years? And so I won't interrupt you in the whole process. And then what do you want your legacy to be? How do you want it to end? And what do you want, because when I think of legacy, I always think of the family name, So, what do you want the people to know what you stand for? Just let us know, like, as far as like, because I know for me, like I'm trying to build something like with my trucking company, right? So even if I'm not here, they'll still be able to eat off that trucking company going. You know what I mean? Like they ain't got to do nothing. It just moving itself. So that's one thing, when I say my legacy, that's what I want. So them are the three questions, before your 28 years, during the 28 years, and now that you're home.
Okay. Now the way I understand it as I never counted on the Department of Justice and the FBI being that corrupt. I never thought they could convict you of he said, she said, without any independently corroborated proof, just on hearsay. I never thought they would plant evidence. I never thought that they could have control of federal judge to go along with their sham trials and stuff like that. I never thought that stuff was possible. I actually found out the hard way on that. So that was a lesson learned on that. And the more I learned about legal work and the more I discovered how corrupt it was and how, you could actually have case law to support you. Like, for example, I wasn't supposed to get that 25 extra years in prison for conduct I beat at trial. And a Supreme Court case called McClinton came out, and all the Supreme Court judges were all on board saying that was illegal. And I wasn't supposed to get it according to a bipartisan Republican Democrat bill, HR 1621 and S 601, which is the Senate version of it. And they said it was illegal. And Amendment 1 of the U.S. Sentencing Guideline, made up of all prominent federal judges, says it's illegal. And that came out November 1st, 2024. And a Supreme Court case called Davis back in 1895 said they never had the authority to do it. So, of course, I find out all these lessons the hard way after serving 28 straight years in prison, 25 of it was illegal. So that was a lesson learned there. And basically getting down to the legacy, I mean, I would send a message to everybody, listen, go to work, don't do anything wrong, try to make legitimate money, pay your taxes. And as far as the government corruption, I think there should be public sentiment over it because it's independently corroborated with the public record, and they should perform corrective action. So it doesn't happen to the next guy.
Yeah, that's what it's here for. That's what it's all about.
We don't want it to happen to the next guy.
No. So before I let you go, quick question. So you said you was in Florence because they got like
Actually, I was in USP Coleman, Florida.
You started in Coleman.
Well, no, I didn't start in Coleman. I ended up, the last place I was at was Coleman, Florida, Coleman 1, and that's when I left from. But I was in Leavenworth when Leavenworth was Leavenworth, Atlanta, Lee. I was in Canaan. I was in Pollock, Blood House to the south. And I left from Coleman, Florida. I was in 6 penitentiaries. Back to
so you never made it. So you never made it to a medium?
Oh no, I made it to a medium. I did, but it wasn't like it was all. You gotta remember, I did 28 years, so it was all, scattered. You know what I'm saying? But I was in 6 of them altogether. But I was in probably about 6 mediums too.
What mediums you went to?
Oh shit, I was in Raybrook, New York. I was in Allenwood Medium. I was in McKean. I mean, I was all.
I started in Gilmer.
Oh, they say it's good food there. Is it good food?
Man, listen. No, listen. I'm gonna tell you a funny story. This is like, so I grew up in the neighborhood that's like, we used to listen to like Wu-Tang, love Wu-Tang, and then our older guys used to beat us up because they said, "Yo, you can't eat pork." Wu-Tang them say you can't eat pork and this and that, and then we started getting on our lessons. So I grew up not eating pork. I stopped eating pork when I was 15. Then when I turned 17, I stopped eating beef. The last hamburger I got was a bacon double cheeseburger from Wendy's, right? I was 17. When I tell you, when I made it to the federal compound, Gilmer, I made it there on a Tuesday. In federal penitentiary, like Wednesday hamburger day, Thursday chicken day, and Friday is fish. So, like I say, 17, no pork, no beef, no nothing.
Right.
I was starving.
Oh, sure.
I was starving. I get there. When I got to the compound, it was in the middle. I think it was probably like 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning. It's the middle of the night. I woke up. I ain't even wake up for breakfast. I slept past breakfast because I was still like going through something. 11 o'clock come, whatever child, 10:30, child. They said, man, listen, they said it's hamburger down there. I said, man, I do not want no hamburger.
But you starving.
For the last 10 years that I was locked up, I didn't miss not one hamburger day. I was there. I was the first person every single hamburger day that I even traded my chicken for a hamburger because I don't eat chicken on the bone. So I had 2 cheeseburgers.
Wow.
Till this day, I come home and I at least need to eat a burger at least once a month. But prison would like change you in so many ways, man. It is crazy, man. But yeah, it was a hell of an experience. But one thing before I let you go, I got one more question for you though. Out of your 28 years in being in prison, what was the worst thing you seen or you encountered?
I mean, there was a lot of violence.
I know that.
The place was loaded with violence. I mean, I can't speak real specific, but there was some pretty bad scenes in there. You know what I mean? Pretty bad. I mean, in there's so many blind spots. Like, if you get lippy with a cop in there, they got no problem with fucking you up. They got no problem with killing you either. I mean, right now, the Federal Bureau of Prisons, you got to basically mind your business.
Yes, that is. Yeah.
You got to don't owe nobody. Don't let them owe you. Have good paperwork. Mind your business.
Yep.
And you can't get lippy with them cops. When you get lippy with them, they got something for you. They got them blind spots. They know how to shut them cameras off.
But we already knew not to mess with the cops, because you mess with the cops, you know what that bring. And people had so much stuff going on that if you mess that up, that's what people don't understand. Even though, like, I didn't start at the pen, but Gilmer was a medium high. And when I tell you it went down, like my first time there, which I ain't gonna talk too much on here about it, because that's a story that I'm actually gonna tell in the podcast that I got coming up. But it was a riot set off when I first got to Gilmer between the Serenios and the Pisces. And yes, and when I tell you we were locked down, I'm talking about they start throwing like Tango Blast on the bus and this and that. And this is my first time being locked up. So with me going through all of that stuff, I mean, I was like, I don't believe, like, what did I get myself into? But I'm gonna say that for another day. Man, but listen, I enjoyed you. I enjoyed our stories. I love, one thing. I can't wait for the movie to come out, because they definitely need a movie on you anytime they did it on all them other guys, man, because I know you've seen some stuff you're holding back, but I'm going to go ahead and get the book. Tell me one more time, what's the name of your book?
Okay, my name is Vincent GiGi Portalla Marino. The name of the book is The Patriarchal Purge. The name of the film is Pressed. The movie we're going to do after that is going to be called The Patriarchal Purge TV miniseries. And then we're going to do Crypto Terrestrial TV miniseries. And then Harvard wants to do a religious film with us, which we're thinking about getting involved with that. And that's basically it.
Man, well, I wish you all the luck. I'm gonna have to come down there, man, to actually see you, man. So I can sit down with you in person.
You're definitely invited, and I really appreciate you allowing me to be on the show. I'm very grateful for it.
Hey, man, believe it or not, man, I want to thank you, because, like I said, man, I got a lot of things going on, and I'm really grateful that you even let me interview a man of your caliber, man, and I appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
Hey, but them Celtics went home though, right?
I know. They're my home team. I got to vote for them, just like the New England Patriots, the Red Sox, and the Bruins.
Well, I'm a Laker fan, man. Hey, but hey, keep on pushing, baby.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Lessons to legacies.
All right, thanks. Bye.